everybody, how is it going? Welcome back. My name is Robert. Hope you're all doing fantastic. And what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about 5 ways to conquer sweep picking. So if you want to skip me talking and just get straight to the licks, go right ahead. I got your link right here for you. You can hop on over to that section. But if you want to hear me blab for a minute and constantly move my hair out of my face, well, this is the video for you. So basically, I've been posting a few different clips of just some sweep picking exercises that I've been doing on my Instagram and Facebook pages, and the response was huge of people who wanted like please do a tutorial. I don't find myself being a super good sweep picker. It's something I just like to practice purely for fun. I honestly don't even incorporate it too much into my own playing, other than doing like a lot of economy picking. But if you want tabs for this lesson, they are down below in the description over my website. You can pick up lesson packs on all other kinds of topics. Got a new lesson pack coming out very soon. And we're just going to go ahead and jump on into this one. Hope you guys enjoy it. And if you would like a part number 2, I don't know why I said part number 2, let me know, and maybe that will happen. Actually, it will happen if you let me know. Let's go, guys. Alright, so example number 1. Now what are we going to do here? So basically, I want to build our way into a 5-string arpeggio. Like I said, if you want a part 2, I would think about incorporating more complicated arpeggios, 6-string stuff. But for now, let's just build our way into a 5-string arpeggio. So basically, we're looking at this. So we're going to go like this. So here's the first one. So we're just going to be doing an A major one. Now we're going to do it 2 different ways though. It's important to practice it both ways. It's very essential. And I will say before I get going, use a metronome with all of this stuff. So we're going to be going like this. So like I said, this is an A major arpeggio. I'm going playing 10 on the B, 9 on the high E, and then 12 on the high E. So we have... Notice my picking hand. Now here is obviously where sweep picking sets itself apart from alternate picking. So watch what I'm doing. I'm going down, down, up. And I don't want you to think that it's actually 2 downs. It's more like 1 down across 2 strings. I think it's important to kind of get our mindset around that. So even if we were to do that across all 5 strings like that, it's not, 5 individual downs. It's more like 1 down across 5 strings. Now, another thing to take in consideration is how my pick is hitting the strings. I'm slanting my pick. I'm not sure what you'll be able to see. This might be out of focus. There we go. Hello, guitar neck. And basically, when I'm going down, I turn my pick like this. When I go up, I'm not doing quite this exaggerated of a movement, but I turn my hand the other way. That way, it's the path of least resistance against the strings. This is a good way to look at it. So for this first one, I'm going down on 10, down on 9, and then up on 12. So down, down, up. And you want to get to where you have that very comfortable. Start with 2 strings, So down, down, up. So... And again, I'm going to exaggerate the movement, but if you watch my hand, it's a very small movement, but when I go up, my hand shifts. So I go down, down, up. Now, what I was talking about before about doing it both directions is this. I want you to also practice starting on the highest note, down, which would be on the 12, and then up on 9, up on 10. So down, up, up. You don't want to neglect any of your, picking directions. So for me, I became very good at ascending arpeggios. But when I had to descend them, my descends were very rushed and didn't have the control. I would ascend one speed and descend another. We don't want that. So I want you to practice this as 2 individual exercises. Down, down, up, and then down, up, up. Okay? Oh, sorry. So that's already a good one right there. Now, I also want to move into a minor arpeggio. So we're going to be going like this. 10, and then we're going to have to change 1 note. We're going to go 10, 8, 12. Now, luckily, the picking and technique side of it is exactly the same. We're just adding a new note. Now, I tend to use my middle, pointer, and pinky. You could use your ring finger if you want. Depends on how you want to do your arpeggios. So we're going to be doing the same exact exercise. move on to the next example, I do think that it's important not to like death grip your pick. Have a loose, relaxed pick. That way your pick can kind of like maneuver its way across the strings, and you're not forcing it, fighting it to go through the strings. So, you know, don't death grip it, but don't have a firm enough grip on it where the pick's not gonna just go like flying out of your hand. On to the next example. So what are we doing here now? Now we're going to incorporate another string. We're doing 3-string arpeggios, and we're adding a pull-off or hammer-on to this. Actually, they're all pull-offs. Psych, there are no hammer-ons. We're going to be going like this now. So we're going to stay with A major and A minor the whole time. So we're going to be going... Okay, so that's kind of our agenda that we have planned for us. So I'm starting up here. I'm going to go 9 on the G, which is with my pointer finger. I'm going down. 10 on the B, which is also down. 9 on the high E. And then 12 on the high E, which is up. So... Now, one thing from there, though, what I'm going to do is I am going to, after I do that up on the 12, I'm going to do a pull-off. So that sets me up to go to 10 on the B. Now this is very, very crucial. This is where teaching, you know, throughout the years when I'm working on sweep picking with students, I see a lot of people mess up. When you're doing a 3-string arpeggio, that is the end of it. Right there. Do not go up again to the 9. That will mess you up. Mess you up. If you've watched Seinfeld, Kenny Rogers Roasters. Bad chicken. Mess you up. So we have that. Now, like I said, what I find is a lot of people, they would try to do another up. It makes sense, doesn't it? But you can't do that. That has to be a down every single time. That's where our arpeggio starts. That's where the arpeggio ends. So make sure you have that cycling when you're ascending it like this. Same thing when this one you can't really flip around a different way. It's the same. Okay? Now try doing the same thing. Now again, my picking hand is relaxed. I'm adjusting the picking direction based on the direction that I'm actually traveling through the strings. So now we're going to go to A minor, which is going to be 9 again. So we're pretty much the same thing. 9 to 10 on the B, 8 on that high E, and then 12 on the high E. Just up, and you pull off, and then you go back like that. So there's your two main arpeggios that we're going to be using. Okay, and that is your kind of like your gateway into 3-string arpeggios. Now what is next? Well, this is where another area, just teaching, I've seen people skip a very important step that I feel that is in sweep picking, and that is the next step from those 3-string arpeggios. A lot of people tend to jump to 5-string, and I don't even want you to go to 4-string right now. We're going to do 3-string again, but we're going to use 3-string on the lower side of the arpeggio. So we did A major, which would, now the lower side would be like this. So this way we're getting a feel, because I'll tell you one thing, with sweep picking, the thicker strings feel different to your picking hand when you're playing them. So let's kind of go through this one a little bit. So basically we're going to go 7, hammer on to 12. I'm starting with a down pick. Then I go to 11 on the D. I use my ring finger. And then 9 on the G. Now so far my picking is down, down. Now this 9 is actually up. Then you're going to go to 11 again, up. 12 again on the A, up, and it starts over. So this one favors the upstroke pretty heavily. So now to change it minor, we just need to drop that major third to minor third. If you're not familiar with what that means, don't worry about that right now. This is a technique-based lesson. So basically, we're just going to change that C sharp down to a C. So we're going to be going 7 to 12 on the A, 10 on the D, 9 on the G, okay? Then you go back to that 10, and then 12. Now we have, we're working on both the thicker strings and the thinner strings with 3 strings at a time. And I'll show you something cool in the next step that works really, really well, combining them together. Okay, so we are on our way to 5-string. I know we skipped 4-string. Don't worry, 4-string stuff is coming up here in a second. I know it's kind of weird skipping 4s, but I want you to try something a little bit different with the 4-string arpeggios, and we're not even going to be out of the key of A when we do that. So now what we have is we have these 2 individual arpeggios, 3 strings from the G down and 3 strings from the A to the G. So what do we do now? Well, we need to combine them together. We've basically been working on a 5-string arpeggio this whole time. We just kind of divided it down the middle. So now we're going to have a much longer right hand picking motion through the strings going both directions. But we have a hammer-on and a pull-off involved now, which, if you notice, we worked on both of those. So we're going to be going like this now. So we're going to start with the A major. So we're going to go 7, hammer-on to 12, which is a down. Then you go to 11, which is a down, on the D, 9 on the G, which is a down, 10 on the B, which is a down, 9 on the high E, which is a down. Now we're going to start our ups. You go back to 12, which is up, pull off, 10 on the B, 9 on the G, 11 on the D, 12 on the A. Those are all ups. So now my hand, since I've been practicing working on adjusting my hand, watch it when I go through this. You can see a very small move. I'm watching the camera right now. You can watch my hand do a very small movement. I'm trying to minimize how much my hands are moving. If I'm probably exaggerating a little bit right now because I'm going slow to show it to you. But if I'm just kind of sweeping, so now we have a 5-string arpeggio to work on. Go very, very slow. And then of course we have our minor arpeggio, which is basically identical. Just that one note difference. So we're going to go 7 to 12, 10, 9, 10, 8, and then 12. And then you descend it. For example number 5, we are doing a 4-string arpeggio, but in a couple different spots, and I'm not really envisioning this in chord forms anymore. I'm actually thinking of the scale. I'm using my sweeping technique inside of the scales more than thinking of it in chord form. So it's going to go like this. It's not in A anymore. It's kind of out of E major. So what's happening here? So what's challenging about this one now is that there's only one note per string. And it requires a much quicker transition for our right hand. That's why I wanted to break this one down separately. The other ones, as we built them up, had hammer-ons and pull-offs, which gives your hand actually a little bit of a break. So this one, like I said, I'm starting right here on 14. I go 14 to 16 on the G, so 14 D, 16 G, 17 on the B, 14 on the high string, so that's 3 downs. Then I start with an up. Then I go back 17, which is up, and then 14, which is an up, and then when I start over again, 16, which was an up. When I start over again, that 14 is a down. So down, 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 up, up, up. So it's an even number of downs and ups now, which is, like I said, a little bit challenging because each string only gets one note. So but I'm viewing this as using my sweeping technique in much more of a musical way. I'm not, like I said, I'm not thinking of it in a chord. I'm thinking of it as a melody now. So I'm going to shift down. I go to this second position. And you could look them up, and I mean, they are technically chord. So this would be like, it was a G sharp minor. But I'm going like this. So I'm going to 11 on the D. What was this? 13 on the G, 12 on the B, and then 11 on the high. Now, oops, that'd be an up. So. Okay, and you can take these apart and figure out exactly what chords are happening. But again, I'm not trying to think about that right now. I'm thinking of it in terms of melody using my scale. Now I'm thinking more chord. Alright guys, well that will be it. Hope you enjoyed that one. Hope it wasn't too boring for you. But like I said, if you'd like a part 2, let me know. Get those tabs, subscribe if you would. That would be amazing. And until next time, I will see you all later. Peace out, homies. Keep on rocking. And I got a high five. Woo! This one's hot. This one, oh, you know what? I forgot. 2 videos are right here. And there's there's a subscribe button right here. Later, guys. Keep it saucy.